chatter.
It's too bad from here I can't control.
Hello.
It's getting at a moment where I'm watching myself.
Yeah. Be a nice angle.
I'm sure. Well, I guess I think whenever you're ready. For more people.
Yeah. So if you want to be really antisocial, you can stay over here and just watch it live on YouTube.
Oh, can you send me the link?
Yeah.
I'll watch it. Can I give the presentation?
Forward. Clay. No, not Clay. Not Chuck Lamb. Not you know. This just shows I don't work with you enough.
You've never emailed me?
I don't work with you enough.
That's insane.
It is, isn't it?
We've done the same project together.
Canderson.
Your Rainmaster.
Did we? Which project did we work on together?
That big one you've been working on?
You.
I worked on it for
Oh, that's right. You helped us out. That was.
I was still ready to get off that thing. That's what I was on. Did that
You love it.
Mega project.
You love it.
Another confidential project.
Yeah. It's the biggest project I've ever done.
So I didn't know you were
You can just take my spot standing up there.
like, actually, our structural engineers here and other team members here.
Clay Anderson, would you like to share some thoughts about the Design for Equity?
Yeah, I'd love to speak with you about design and equity. It's something that's really passionate about.
How are you doing that? What is this Google? It's quite the lag, but it's incredible. So you guys are just pre-recording this? That's really
Oh, sorry, the laughing is cool as well. That's probably unprofessional.
yeah, a little unprofessional.
Okay, that's all right. We're getting
All right,
out
so
of ambiance.
just throw me the
We're
mic
getting ready.
whenever
We're getting
you're ready.
You were trying
I mean,
to
for my,
consider.
yeah, okay. Are we ready?
But they also.
Funny, this is on such a delay. On such a delay. You ready?
Yeah.
You ready? Hello, everybody. How are you doing? We doing good? Are we ready to rumble? No, we're not. Maybe not quite yet. Okay, well, thank you very much, all of you, for coming this evening. I know there's some people hiding in the back over there. Maybe they're watching the YouTube, Google Hangouts thing. Oh, I've got to stay here, so I'm actually captured on this. How are we doing, Trevor? Good. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to turn this off. Okay. Okay. Well, hello, everybody. Thank you very much for coming here on your Friday evening to sort of next stage in our process as we work towards the block party through this Rumble process. I know that we had a fun event at LMN about 3-4 weeks ago, a month ago, where we sort of really were kind of like drinking out the fountain. We didn't know quite what was going on, and we sort of formed some teams, came together, came up with some ideas, some concepts, and now really it's a chance to get back together again, think about, you know, where we've got to, and share their ideas and sort of really sort of try to foster a little bit more of the community together as we move towards the block party itself. So thank you very much all for coming. These are our beautiful new branding exercises. Is that right, Susan? Branding? Good. Design for equity. It's lovely. And can we move on?
Do you need me to arrow for you?
Oh, shit.
You gotta
One
click
down.
it.
Clicker. Oh, no, the clicker's not going to work. Can we go? Oh, there you go. Rumble check-in. That's what we're doing tonight. Okay, so before I bore you tremendously, and I'm going to pass it on, I was asked to sort of ask if you're ready to rumble. Are you ready to rumble? Are you really ready to rumble? Are you ready to rumble? Yes, that sounds better. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to pass it on to who am I passing it on? To me? Oh, I've got to thank people. Okay. Thanking people. DLR, thank you very much for hosting tonight. Vicky, thank you very much. Beautiful space to welcome us. Some beers, some drinks, also with Hilliard's. Hilliard's again, bring beer for the event. We have producing DIP AIA Seattle, and also some sponsors, LMN, and the Intentional Futures. We all want to be intentional about our futures. So yeah, and then we have our activity partners, Skate Like a Girl. We have Feet First, Market Share, the public market, Alicat Acres, Taskar, and then obviously to also the contractors who really make this happen so we can actually build the things that we're talking about. Hoffman, Lisa Crutcher-Lewis, Mallet, Howard S. Wright, Method. Method? We got Method? No? Okay. We really want Method to come, but we're still trying to get them on. Selling are coming up. They're going to help us out. They're going to help you out. Okay, and then those sponsors are down there. So, okay. Susan, I'm going to pass it on to you. And oh, yeah, washrooms. Oh, I'm doing really badly tonight, aren't I? Okay, washrooms, restrooms, that way. You see the exit sign, ignore it, go left. There's non-gender restrooms over there as well. We have kitchenette over here. We have beers, some snacks, and some soft drinks over here. There is trash over in the kitchen area so that you can put those things in there. Be really great. Help Vicky and the group not have to do a bunch of clear up later on today. So, okay, Matt, am I passing on to you?
All right. So tonight we're here to check in. So each group, we're going to format it like as kind of a Bachaka-cha type thing, but a little bit abbreviated. So each group has 6 slides. They're going to be automatically looped. So you've got 30 seconds per slide, totaling 3 minutes. Once you're done with your 3-minute presentation, we're going to open it up. We're going to try to encourage everybody to ask a question, make a comment, make a statement, whatever it might be. Say something. We've got 2 minutes of that. It'll kind of time through. And then we'll have 1 minute for the next presenter to hurry their way up here and get ready to present. So the order is, we're going to start with Skate Like a Girl, Market Share, Saucy Studio, Feet First, Alicat, Taskar, Design Nerds, and we're going to finish up with Smaller, Smarter Living. So there we go. This is the order for tonight. Does everybody kind of get what we're going to try to do?
You got to be quick, right?
Got to be quick.
There's going to be a slide up there. So I'm going to tell you, you have 1 minute left. And then you're going to do that. Then your name's going to come up. So you got to get rushing.
Excellent. Here we go, Susan.
I used to have to step down so I can be in the video that's happening. So I just wanted to go over the main things that we are checking for tonight. The main criteria, especially for the Rumble installations, the 5 that we came to at our last event, are that they have to fit within the 15-foot radius allowed. Very important. They have to be self-supporting, so not hanging from trees or tied into the ground in any way. They have to be able to be assembled in one day and torn down in one day. There has to be a life cycle plan for them, either a future home for the object or material reuse. And these are definitely true for all of the installations, hopefully, that they will offer opportunities for engagement for all kinds of people, all ages, abilities, sizes, languages spoken. And we're also going to be keeping you in check on your design process. Is it equitable? Are you accountable to your engineers, your contractors, your community partners, and to each other within your team? And so we're really looking for a consensus-based and equitable design process as much as we're looking for a product. And then in terms of how these things look, that is totally all up to you. We are not controlling the look or the style or anything like that. That's your opportunity to express yourself. So with that said, we're going to give it to our first team. Oh yes, and Vicky can add one more thing before.
Sorry, I just wanted to remind everybody who is holding red wine that those carpets, please be careful. Do not spill red wine on those carpets. Thank you.
Yes, do not spill the wine. Please don't. I will try not to myself. All right, so it is now time for our first presenter, which is Skate Like a Girl.
Hi. Okay, we only have a tiny section of our team here, including our community sponsors not here too. So I'm going to fill it in. Yeah. Skate Like a Girl, really awesome organization that encourages confidence in young girls by teaching them to skateboard and having adult women teach young boys and girls and everybody to skateboard.
Mm-hmm. And it's also a big part of it is trying to legitimize skateboarding as a sport and to kind of tear down some of the preconceived notions or anxieties that come around skateboarding.
Anything else? All right. Skate like a girl. 30 seconds is a long time.
There we go.
Okay. So these are our initial sketches from the first Rumble and our check-in. And what we decided to do was we wanted to try to connect with people that aren't skateboarders. So trying to get them comfortable with it in a non-scary environment, non-threatening, no high jumps or loops or actual skateboarding.
Yeah. And so there's kind of, that's one part of it. And as you'll see, there's another part of it that is also more of an iterative art installation, kind of trying to play into the skate culture as well. And so on one side of it will be sort of this influenced by this the left side pictures, kind of these skateboards that are mounted down. They kind of give you the feeling of skateboard and walk you through some of the basic steps that you would need to be able to learn to skateboard. Introduce you to that in a way that's non-threatening, where it's not actually going to roll out of the way on you.
So what the idea we came up with is a freestanding wall that would show you the first 3 introductory steps learning to skateboard. They usually do this on grass, I guess, like no concrete, you're not going to fall, you're not going to hurt yourself. So we would put sod down, which would not damage the ground and allow this to just be freestanding. The first one is just standing on the board. The board is fixed to the ground, nobody's doing anything. The next one is the drop down. So we would just have the skateboard be able to do that. Exactly. Just like a tack. And then you look like you're moving. And then the next one is the tic-tac where you go back and forth. Very low key, very fun. And then the opposite side of the board would be more of the skate culture part where people can draw and write and wheat paste. And we brought in examples of zines. More stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of collaborative art wall. And so
we want this to introduce people to skateboarding, but also to skate culture. And so that's where the wheat paste and the zines come in, and where also trying to do things like provide people a place to sit and doing that out of skateboards, and just kind of trying to have a very stay very in theme for the whole thing, but also make it something that people want to come hang out at, come participate in, and contribute to.
Yeah.
Which isn't really design comment. Just it would be awesome if you could be super clear every time it's presented that it is for like kids and people of all genders.
Yes.
Sometimes we get stuck into like binary men and women, just sort of aggressively, just like promote that it's for all genders.
Yes, it is for everybody.
Is that a reference to the name?
Skate Like a Girl. That's the organization is Skate Like a Girl, but that's the idea is that it's everybody. Yeah. I'm going to assume it's perfect if no one asks any questions.
You did awesome.
Good job.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
We did also talk about having the different walls, if you go back, to be 5 feet to working within the 15 inches. So like working out the dimensions of it to work within the perimeter of like one wall would be 5 feet and another would be 4 feet, kind of equaling out to 15. Yeah, and there'll be like a floor thing which we would attach the skateboard to, you know. Yeah.
So maybe there's a chance to like have glances through as well.
We can't go back obviously, but we have the idea of putting plexiglass in each side so that people can. You're not like hidden from what's happening on the other side of the wall. People can see the people learning to skateboard and standing on skateboard, and as well as taping up stuff on the other side. We're still trying to work that out, but we're hoping that it could find a home in one of the Seattle skate parks or at one of their venues. So that was if our sponsor was here, she could probably talk to that more, but it's in the works.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm going to quickly turn on to market share. We go do a quick turnaround. So market share, who's coming up? You gotta act quick in the
Yeah, this is real quick.
It goes fast. 30 seconds. Go.
Okay. Does the first slide come up or? Oh, okay. So we're working with market share. So market share is about empowering immigrant and refugees through entrepreneurship and working to build a market eventually in Seattle, an international food market. So the slides ever come? So we kind of looked at initially why, how, and what market share was, and then how we could translate that into our design. So I guess, do we have, okay, yeah. So we looked at this kind of business model, I guess, that they say is good, of that good companies kind of work from why. They have a why message behind what they do before they try and sell a product and go the other way in. So we kind of looked at why market share exists, and we looked at their mission statement, which is, as I said, about empowering refugees. And then we wanted to add one step further to this, that it doesn't just empower the entrepreneurs that they work with, but that it also enriches all of us. And so then we wanted to look at how not only their mission can be completed through this, but also a mission for everyone that's involved in Seattle Design Festival. So kind of taking their mission and then adding to it. So that was why not only they do what they do, but also why we are doing market share. And that's why kind of everyone in the group decided to work for market share. So how they're getting their mission statement across to people is by getting people to talk about it, increasing publicity for it, and then eventually donating and getting people to volunteer for them, so that eventually they can end up building this market. So then we wanted to look at how we could then add branch off from that and make the why happen for us, which is essentially a wow factor. So we wanted to look at how we can make our design as attractive as possible and get people engaged in it within the festival so that it ends up leading to the why, I guess. And then what for market share, what is a market in the end, but essentially the what doesn't really matter. It could be anything for them. It's really why they're doing it. So their what is this international food market. And then our what is our design for the Seattle Design Festival. And so within that, on our next slide, we go through concepts. We kind of looked at the important things that we wanted to convey, breaking down from their own mission statement. And we kind of looked at the important things, which were food. So we wanted to engage food in our design somehow. So we had some of our designs looked at how we could throw flour on people as they walk past, or throw paprika on them and they're covered in it and they walk around the festival and get everybody else's design real dirty. And then also looking at the story behind market share. So about people coming from different cultures and how this enriches everyone in our society as well. And then we wanted to make sure that it's interactive, so people can walk through it and touch it and play with it and really be a part of it. And then the result that would lead to this, which hopefully is people learning about market share, sharing market share, donating to market share, volunteering for market share. That was our end result. Will be our end result, hopefully, from this. Yeah. Questions and comments? Sorry. So we're still working on that part. Kind of our concept so far is just something that we were looking at something that might resemble a market, as I said, but has some interactive element to it. So maybe people are covered in flour or covered in paprika. They kind of get this experience of a market and learn about market share throughout it. But yeah, our designs so far, we're still kind of through the concept phase, I guess, for it. Yeah, I mean, we didn't want to rush either into the design so far. We wanted to really be sure of what we wanted to end up with, and that was ultimately, learning about market share and other people learning about market share. That's the goal behind it. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, sorry. Is this someone else's presentation now?
Thanks.
Okay, Sources Video.
All right.
It's a non-rebel installation. These guys came and they proposed a program to DIP as part of the overall festival. So they wanted to also share what they can do for the block party. They're also part of it. Interestingly enough, the maps that are around here kind of talk about all the different things that are going to occur over the block party. So with that,
All right. Thank you. Howdy, everyone. Thanks for letting us share in this evening with you. So we are Saucy Studio. I'm Niall. This is Connor. We are a group of grad students in architecture at the University of Washington. That was basically my first slide, so I've got 30 seconds to waste now. Yeah. I'll just relax. Yeah, I'm not as smooth as these other guys. Got to read. So like I said, we've come here to propose the threshold of equity. This is our diagram. We haven't come to a complete conclusion about what it necessarily is yet, but we're getting there. So as you can see, this is a plan. So what is equity? For us, equity is something that can be experienced by everyone, that we are all equal. We believe that the boundaries and thresholds of equity, whether they are social, political, natural, or mental, can be confronted and overcome. Our design approach is to bring awareness to the idea by creating an interactive experience for the individual while uniting the community into an equal whole. So how do we experience thresholds and boundaries? We can experience them being adjacent to them, below, above, or around. And how can we build a threshold for people to experience equity? What is it, and how do people interact with it? So we landed on the universal threshold of a door. It is an object that everyone, independent of their culture, religion, age, race, gender, or physical ability, interacts with every day. The door symbolizes an entry into a barrier or obstacle to be opened and walked through. So we are proposing to build a door, if you didn't realize that everyone can open and walk through in Occidental Park. Taking the door out of its context will provoke question and thoughts. Besides walking through this threshold, we are interested in having the public engage with it further. So we will provide note paper designed for the public to transcribe or draw their ideas about equity. The notes will be basically used to spark ideas, wishes, or even confessions. So be careful. The notes will then be placed within holes in the door. Each person experiences walking through the door will be enhanced by the notes of others. All right, phew. Scale, it'll fit in within the 8-foot boundary that we have. So we haven't exactly dimensioned out the door though in framing, but we're gonna make it. Yeah,
I think you also showed some structural pieces coming.
yeah we're
I wonder if eliminate those.
right, because we can't really attach to anything. So
Maybe I was trying to. What are the connotations if you do a small door that's undersized versus a large door that's oversized versus a standard door? What does that mean to equity?
I mean, it kind of is inequity, it seems like, if you have an undersized, or I guess oversized doesn't necessarily matter, but I think the scale of a door that everyone recognizes more or less in their everyday life is kind of nice to have them be able to interact with that to the scale that they already know. But yeah, we're still, I guess, pondering those issues. Mm-hmm. At this point, I don't think it'll be mechanized. I think we'll try to make it as accessible as possible. We did play around with different ideas of bringing electricity to it and doing different things with it, but yeah, I don't think we've worked that out yet.
I think the interesting thing as well is the idea of right answers. I think that's kind of really cool, sort of breaking the boundary, breaking the hard boundary. And what's that thing that contains messages where people might write those as well? So think about
Right. We were talking about that. Does it get saved somewhere or not? Or
okay, so
thank you.
move on. We've got feet first coming up.
So feet first.
We gotta get our feet over there. Hang on.
Yep.
That's a lot of feet to get first. Which feet goes first?
Both.
All of you.
So we were representing Feet First and the Waterfront Symposium. Feet First promotes walking as a means of discovering your community that you live in. And the Waterfront Symposium, this guy, is a forum in which the community who use the waterfront, past, present, future, will have a bigger say in the development of the waterfront once that viaduct comes down. It's coming down. It's coming down. We promise. So again, Feet First. One of the other teams that we're actually possibly collaborating with is Trace from UW. As you can see, this is an outline of the waterfront of Seattle back in the day, back before any of us were here. And Trace will work with us to actually create a walking map so that you can walk along the old line of the Seattle waterfront. And we found this out because Feet First is working with them on a booth. So as you can see here, this is the evolution of the waterfront, which really sparked our interest. You can see from the 1880s or 1900s, it kind of expanded into this web of craziness, and then now it's kind of all filled in. But this is the comparison of the old waterfront and the new. And this is kind of the basis of our entire installation.
You guys see that line right here? This was the original shoreline, and all that was covering it. Or now.
And so these are some of the ways that we would like to interpret equity, which is the engagement of the future and the past. We want to evoke the memory of the people who have lived here through the ages, from the Duwamish to the industrial colonialists to the present day. And the goal is to dig through the evolution of the site, gain back some of what we've lost, and expose the palimpsest of the waterfront development. Progress is not always loss. I talked about engagement of the community. I will also tell you a bit about form and materiality, which is We want something where you can use your feet first. So kick off your shoes and get walking on our installation and feel history through your feet. So this was the sketch that we initially brought up during the rumble, and the idea is you kick off your shoes and you walk on different materials along the way. So we've also started kind of looking upwards. How can you bring this difference vertically?
So this way, by walking between what was once the waterfront, what is now the waterfront, the installation in turn activates the user, and then the user can then activate the installation by walking this path through the Trace app.
One of our critiques is also that Seattle lacks a connection to the waterfront. We want to somehow invoke a connection, not just parallel along the waterfront, but perpendicularly from the neighborhoods down to the waterfront. And we want to talk about the dialectic of the natural versus the built. So in the sense, the man-made is carving into the natural. What have we lost and what have we gained?
One of the things that came up, and it's beyond my knowledge of technology, but it was kind of cool, is this thing called Trace. And the idea is that there was an object that would tell you, go someplace on the waterfront so you can experience it, and then you can actually report it back by hashtags and other things that I don't know nothing about. But what was cool about it, and our mission is to, even though we're in Occidental Square, is to get people to move out and experience the real waterfront and then sort of report back what they experience.
And that's it. We're still working on the forum. You saw multiple forums. We don't know which one yet. So the Trace itself, the software that the UW students are creating, is just a self-guided walking tour that you get on your cell phone. However, we're thinking like maybe we can have stickers with QR codes on them so that along the way, as you're walking, you can kind of put your phone to the QR code and learn something about what you're seeing. We haven't figured that out yet.
There was a message in the bottle.
It went away partially also because the Waterfront Symposium is kind of the forum for future and the forum for actually saying what you're going to do. Yeah. So this will end up from the block party to the symposium and then hopefully eventually on the waterfront somewhere. This guy's going to figure that out. Mm-hmm.
And so I hope that you will reach out to them and get some participation and thought into this.
Yeah, one of our members actually went down to the Duwamish Longhouse yesterday or the day before, and she's talked to some of those people, and we're hoping. So we figured, and we kind of alluded to some aspects of verticality. I know our initial thoughts were kind of a floor, but the more we think about it, I mean, rolling your wheelchair on it, you can hear the sounds of whatever you're rolling onto would be really great. So we are going to allow you to roll a wheelchair onto the floor, but also you can touch it with your hands. So some sort of vertical parts. Sorry. That's okay.
Ali Cat's coming in. Sarah's coming.
Good evening. So we are working with, we're the team that's working on the urban farming and landscaping installation with Alley Cat Acre Farms. We've got a team of, not everyone's up here, we have about 16 people on our team. And it's been quite a job to get everyone to coordinate, but we've met about 3 times. We actually met at one of the Alley Cat Acre Farms to learn more about their planting and composting processes. We're also working with the Pike Place Market and with Howard S. Wright to help with contracting and structural engineering. So, kicking this off, we are going to be creating an urban Picofarm and mobile tool shed. The idea behind this is that we really want to create something that is both interactive, reusable post festival, and that really educates people and festival goers on the purpose of urban farming, and that it's really something that a lot of people can do with their own time. So when we met at the Design Rumble, in one of our design charrettes, we asked the question, how might we create an installation that is reusable, equitable, meaning that everyone can access it, all ages, genders, whatever form you come in, you can interact with it. So what we came up with was an urban farming installation that allows festival goers to come by and garden, plant something, dump soil into these beds, and learn more about composting and getting involved. Isabella is going to talk a little bit more about the installation.
Right. So our idea behind this installation was kind of generated by that one of the guys at Alley Cat about the 4x4 pallet as a module. And kind of focusing on micro-modularity, which was driven by urban farming, because the only way to make it sustainable in the urban environment is to make it something that's small and feasible for most people. And then also accessibility. So as you can see from this rendering, being able to access the beds from multiple sides was a key point.
And the part of about the canopies, we would like to, as you see in the previous slide, there is, how farmers market, they have that canopy. This canopy is inspired by that. And so, the farmers are working really hard. And when they come to the farmers market, they kind of show off their produce, flowers, and under this canopy. And the canopy is also create a space to bring all parts together. We have planting part, everything, and we have, the tool shed. So, and then the modulations kind of echo the modulation of the planting bed and also how the tool sheds look.
So our kind of third part of our group is the tool shed. So there's a family who works at Pike Place Market, and they have to bring their tools every day to the farm because they can't leave them on their property. So they came to us asking if we could design something for them that would have enough space to bring their tools on the highway for about 40 minutes. And so we're actually going to meet with them Monday. We've come up with some ideas that you saw before, and they're kind of what we interpreted from what we've heard, but to meet with them would be great, kind of throw ideas off each other, ask them a lot of questions. So that's kind of our step forward, working with the contractors to make sure that we're in budget and that we're efficient, and also that the tool shed will last a long time. So any questions?
How do you make sure people are learning when they actually go to the event?
So they're going to be planting. I'm sorry, they're going to be planting at the same time. So that's why those little, the module of those like a planter, and the inside of it, it'll be a composting elements to it. It'll be worms. I think we're going to want to use it like a worm bin, and the kids they'll see how worms like eating up the.
We're going to have signage. So, for example, we were thinking about having terracotta pots that would have planting labels. So when someone plants a flower or puts some soil in the beds, they can write their name on it and leave a little note. But we'll have small signs near the compost that show the 3 different steps of composting. So, the first one's you can see banana peels and worms as a shovel. You can dig around and kind of see what composting looks like at each phase. So we'll have signage for that. Did you want to add something? I think that was a big part, was being able to find all the items out here in the Seattle area, things that are reusable, things that have been repurposed. Wood pallets are pretty easy and cheap to find. And they're also something that can be given away and used afterwards. And what we love about the mobile tool shed is this will actually go to the family and they'll get to use this as part of their job and lifestyle.
And the canopy will be made up of cardboards. Once the fence over, the cardboards can be used to lay under the, for the farmers to lay under the, the top bed. Yeah. Thank you.
Sasha, are you here? Do you want the microphone?
Sure. Yeah, I don't speak that loud. All right. Hi, so I'm Anat Caspi from the Tasker Center for Accessible Technology, and this is Sarah Haas, Setyan, and George, and here's everybody's names. Excellent. The center is a part of the computer science department at UW, and what we do is focus on innovative technologies that improve independence, productivity, and quality of life for people with disabilities. We focus on mobility impaired and speech impaired individuals in particular. The idea, my very clumsy initial design, was a universal play kiosk, which we can use not only to display some of the technologies that we propose, but also invite people into an interactive, collaborative environment where everyone can play collaboratively. And so very important features to the design were modularity, so that we can break it down and take it into different play spaces and user groups. Flexibility, that we could flexibly change the configuration of the space. Immersiveness, the ability to have people in all kinds of configurations be immersed in the activity, whether in the center of the circle or around it. Everything is reconfigurable and expandable in the sense that we can add more tabletops or fewer ones depending on what the activity might be. And very importantly, accessibility to different people with different setups in wheelchairs, reclining, looking upward, looking sideways, all kinds of configurations. This is Sarah.
So in our first meeting, the first thing we decided on was to have this 13-foot radius. So if it's within the 15-foot radius, we decided we were going to do 3 tables, each of them standalone, with play features on them. So you can rearrange them in different configurations. And then one of the optional ones was a mechanism at the top, so that people who reclined back can actually see what is going on those tables.
Yeah, so, okay. So the main problem was we had a lot of IDs flying around. We had to select the ones which give us the most function for the least amount of complexity, engineering and technical wise, like these balloons and the centerpiece. So we use off-the-shelf parts, try to interact and involve with other parts, other departments of the engineering from the University of Washington to help us out with the design.
And so feasibility and flexibility and afterlife has been key principles, through the whole process, because it's really challenging thinking of an installation in itself, but also, we have a very defined problem with the net since the beginning. So this mechanism is a device that we're thinking we inherited from the Rumble basically, and we'll try to add a lot to it, but we wanted these tables to move initially, and they were connected, and we thought of almost like a pinball game that people can move them and can create this array of floating balls with each other. And then as we're thinking of all these parameters, things are shifting, but we still want to keep this universal joint in the table that allows for flexibility and do a lot with it. And then you saw the idea of the ball on top as an option to replace a mirror and other ideas. So there's an hexagon and a circle for reasons of constructability. We haven't picked up yet a direction. Of course, we like the circle, but we're thinking, how can we make it? Thank you.
So in 6 minutes, we couldn't quite show all the features. Both tabletop sides are plexiglass, and so you're able to see what's going on in the display cases from both below and above. In addition, there are peg holes in the inner plexiglass layer. So that allows for real modularity in the displays that happen inside, because we can vary the configurations all around. Additionally, people who are reclined can see the reflective reflective surfaces and see what's going on in all places in the display. Although with some of the reflective surfaces that we were proposing, it might be a little bit distorted as far as not a real mirror. But yeah. Sure.
And I'd say to also encourage what is actually in those cases. The height limit, what is in there, what's the fun thing for people to do?
Right. So initially we were talking about a pinball-like table where the participants are collaboratively aiming to get the ball from one source to a destination. And so that's why the tilt is an important feature of the table.
Are they all three the same? Or are they different?
Slightly different configurations of mazes and things like that with play. Yeah.
Purpose tonight we didn't talk about the program because we had so many ideas and we wanted to focus, since we pushed constructability and maybe we rushed it a little bit, but the next time we'll make sure that we have
we'd love to see next time a bit more thought on actually what's going on in those games so they're interactive.
Sure.
Design nerds. I know you're moving on next. I'm gonna grab this thing. I'm gonna pass it on to you.
Hello. I'm with the Seattle Design Nerds, one of the co-founders. There's actually like 65 people on our team with 12 people that are real involved. So yeah, apparently they're invisible. It's just me. I'm the most important. Is that equitable? So as I said, we're the Seattle Design Nerds. We're relatively new. We're a chapter of the International Design Nerds, which is just a group that's really set up to facilitate either tactical urbanism or sort of just design within a city. The charter we set in the state registration for a nonprofit was to make Seattle more awesome. So it's really wide open. We've been around a few years. Last year we did the inflatable in Nord Alley. We've also done some digital stuff as well at a few things. We've got a little bit of an advantage here because we have a lot of people on our team have been involved with the festival since the inception, including myself. So we've actually already started construction on another inflatable for this year. When we started thinking about equity, our in to equity was empathy. So sort of thinking about putting yourself, or that your actions have sort of consequences on other people, looking through it that way. And so we're looking at, it's mostly a team of architects. How do we do that through space? And so again, with an inflatable, if you're pushing and pulling on it, you're impacting other people's space within that. So here you have the first shot of our concept. This is from last year. Same type of idea, but we're looking at something this year focused on being more controlled, more designed, sort of feel like more intentional. Inside, you'll find we're gonna have a bunch of space blankets and things like that, and also these silver triangles on the outside will be space blankets. It's all made out of painter's plastic. These things will create sort of a reflective mirror, and we're trying to make a mirrored room on the inside. So there'll be this white space, and you'll be able to see something like that with the inflatable we have here. Within that you can walk in and see this mirrored room, and then those walls sort of deform. The other sort of factor of how we want to make this a little more equitable is to attempt to pop this up around the city, which we've done with this one here that's here. You can see on the screen as well. It's all battery powered. So the goal is to sort of take it to spaces and either pop it up to sort of illustrate the space can be used differently, or pop it up for use in that space so we can sort of create events or things along the waterfront around town. Last shot here is just the model of it at this point, showing a little bit of the scale. It's a little out of scale, but that's sort of the gist of it. The upper bit here is the floor, which that's what we've been constructing as of last night. So that's all made out of cardboard, which we're just scavenging out of dumpsters. And it's sort of working. We're trying to make it work better. But anyway, questions? I'm sure I jumped through a bunch of things there. Or not. Or we can all just go in the inflatable over here.
So can you go into the inflatable?
That's the point of it. Yeah, it's an inflatable room you'll be inside of. Yes.
Everybody can get in.
So yeah, we're working on how to make it wheelchair accessible. Last year you had to lift and sort of crawl in. That's not like the best way to do things. So this one we've got here is one of the, we sort of do everything through an iterative process. Like we just make stuff, and then if it doesn't work, we make a different one. So this was the first test. We're testing nylon and testing Velcro as a door. Velcro works great for wheelchairs and things, but it rips apart. It's too strong, surprisingly. So we found sort of a zipper scenario that we think will work better, but we're working on that. You know, we need to invent an airlock as well. So that's a big part of it.
With this, is it possible for people to actually manipulate it, change its form, shape?
Yeah, so the fans we're using are fairly weak. You'll even see this one. If you press on it, it really, yeah, I mean, it's not very taut. It moves around quite a bit. So even just in the, it's all right. Even just in the wind or people in it, it moves, and it won't be as much as maybe we're hoping to get. We've looked at ways of putting handles and things and, you know, ropes and all sorts of stuff. We're trying to keep it fairly simple and abstract in order to have it be reused. We learned last year from the arms, stuff rips off real easy. So. Yeah, the interior bit will be. Oh, and then I showed in the screenshot, we've got L wire in it, so we've got it. It's all lit up inside, maybe. So that'll be sort of interactive. Yeah, there'll be blob suits. The green men will be back.
Are you smaller and smarter than the last time I saw you?
Hopefully. Hello. So we're part of a group called Smaller Smarter. It's myself, Clay Anderson, a designer in town, Cody, Garrett, Kevin, our structural engineer, and we're also teamed up with a journalist as well as Katie Sheehy from City of Seattle. She's a senior planner. And we're interested in just investigating smaller living in Seattle and what that means and how we can look at equitable housing for the city. And next slide. There we are. So yeah, that's kind of our gist is obviously the city of Seattle is kind of facing this enormous growth in the city, and we're interested in what are the possibilities through this installation of just thinking about what it takes to live smaller in Seattle. What are the actual spatial ramifications of thinking small, especially in a place like Seattle where, like I said, the growth is pretty high right now. And how do we actually start to look at this through a demographic range of not just a person that has a house, but a person that may need a house, all the way through kind of the tech movement that's happening in the city. And through this idea, because our main object is, again, an alternative living space that we can actually deploy in different neighborhoods and communities within Seattle, and use it as an educational tool. That's our main kind of aspect, is how we actually move this thing around, actually start to test data and actually broadcast living smaller throughout Seattle. So it's not this kind of scary thing that happens, but it's something that could happen in the city. And again, we're already seeing kind of small housing typologies that are happening here. We're always seeing backyard cottages, ADUs, apartments. A lot of these things are controversial, even tiny houses. And then the mayor's goals and like the HALA reports of affordable housing committee that's happening right now. A lot of these things are happening, but we're kind of trying to say, how can we bring it to the forefront and allow people in the community to come into these things and actually say, this is not as scary as it could be, living smaller, or actually it is scary. We kind of want to get that feedback. So part of the installation concepts we're interested in, again, is raising awareness for small living in Seattle. And in doing that is celebrating kind of efficient use of space, livability of small spaces. We want to deal with natural light, ventilation, access to nature and amenities. And another big one is adaptive and flexible. We want this thing to serve many user groups adapt. So maybe this thing actually can grow during the festival or change or adapt to a family versus a single occupant. And for us, the main thing is just getting it out into the public. A lot of the people on the team actually been involved with installations in the past, whether it be Wover, Shift, some of these installations, and we want to capitalize on what made this so interactive and so fun while kind of dealing with a dense issue of housing. And obviously, like all the other installations, will be in Pioneer Square is the main portion of it. But through this, I think the main other object is to not just keep it part of the design festival, is actually to move it on a larger stage throughout the city. We see this thing being a parking day installation and moving around the city itself to different neighborhoods, different segments of the city, different groups who may be scared of small living in some ways or have never seen it before, or kind of the NIMBYism that happens in Seattle. We kind of just want to push that on a kind of a holistic level across Seattle itself. So moving past Seattle Design Fest and actually going to these other events or neighborhoods. I think that's all I got. Do you want to add anything?
Of like, why aren't we looking at like taking land back from those who hoard too much rather than only thinking about coming at it from living small?
Yeah, well, I think just actually, if you've seen the reports coming out right now from the mayor's affordable housing, kind of the HALA thing that was kind of leaked through the Seattle Times, that's been a big part. It's like changing the single family use, which is like 65% of Seattle itself is single family. And that obviously scares a lot of people, but we are interested in like, can we deploy this thing in a backyard? Invite people in a neighborhood to come and say, actually, this is not as scary. We can actually put 2 or 3 of these in. And so I guess for us, it is a kind of it's part of the bigger issues that are happening in Seattle right now. And how can this kind of be a provocative tool of testing those things and collecting data through that? Right. And 200 square feet or something crazy. Yeah.
Actually, we call it cheap and durable, where it's visible, it's fun, and you feel like living in it.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think we still don't have an end goal or where this thing could live. So I think that could be a cool thing to build for, as it becomes a tool for someone else that maybe doesn't have a place to live. So yeah, for sure. If you have a contact, let us know. So I think for us, the big thing is just, again, we're a lot of it, we're interested in just space and investigating, or just having people say, this is too small, I could never live like this. Or actually, you know what, I could live like this. I think that's our question, is we don't know what the perception will be of the public and of different groups, but I think that's the fun part is I think that, well, the goal is to also have a website and to kind of put that data out there. So we're not sure how that happens yet, but interviewing people and kind of seeing what their perception is of the space.
That might be part of the actual thing itself. There might be an opportunity for people to respond.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Great job. So that's it for tonight. Those are our 8 presentations. The rest of the evening, please drink some more beer, talk to everybody, kind of ask more questions, and kind of network, socialize, and kind of see what's out there. Coming up quick, though, in a month from now, August 14th, it's a Friday. We're going to do the same thing. It's going to be check-in number 2, or Rumble, report back number 2. So kind of keep prepared and look forward to seeing what you guys develop in the next month.
And one thing, just to check in again, I mentioned the maps that are on the wall. These kind of just go through, there's a lot of things going on in the block party. And, you know, we talked about the Rumble installations, these black objects here, and then all the different things. I know that we had some different groups presenting tonight. So to kind of give an idea of that and kind of how you sit within the greater context of the block party as well.
And so I was about to say that the link is listed on there, but for YouTube, I guess, too, tinyurl.com/2015 SDF site plan. And so this will constantly update. Well, but once a week, we're going to be making tweaks because we keep getting new stuff. This week we added in busker spots. So we have 2 stages now that are a little bit open mic. We're still working out what that is. But you'll see new things every week. And we'll let you know if we move you too much, but you're going to shift around here and there. So be aware.
And I think I saw the waterfront used to go kind of weirdly through the site. I'd love to see the waterfront one be right on the boundary of where it used to be. All right. Well, I think we're good. Are we good? Okay. Well, I think we're good. I think, awesome to see how these things are developing. I think that the sort of committee is going to send out a couple of emails just to the different groups just to sort of check in any questions and just comments as well, sort of moving forward in those things. And as Matt said, drink, be merry. And if you have questions, if you want to ask people and get help and stuff like that, you're welcome.
If you are a structural engineer or contractor who has very specific feedback about any of the installation's constructability or feasibility or life safety, please definitely let us know. That is really our main number one concern, is that these things do not fall down and kill people. Don't kill people with your installation. Let it be merry. And that's all. I will end with that. I was goth as a teenager, and that's all I'm going to say. Thank you.